Starting a new job is kind of like walking a tightrope, right? Especially those first few months, that whole probation period, it is just filled with pressure. And I know this because, well, I almost fell off. So today, I'm going to share the honest story of what went wrong for me and the super simple system that turned everything around.
So let's just start with the big question here. Are those first 90 days some kind of test designed to catch you messing up, or are they a real opportunity to build a solid foundation for your success? Honestly, I used to see it as a test, a trap even. But I learned to see it completely differently, and I'm going to show you how you can too.
And look, let's be real. The pressure is huge. You desperately want to impress, you want to prove they made the right choice hiring you, but you're trying to figure out a new culture, a whole set of unwritten rules, and you're constantly second-guessing what doing a good job even looks like.
Which brings us to the first major hurdle, decoding what your new team and, more importantly, your new manager actually expect from you. Because there's what they say, and then there's what they really mean. This communication gap, oh yeah, it hit me hard. In my very first week, my manager told me, just be proactive and take ownership. Sounds simple, right? But what I heard was figure it all out on your own and please don't bother me. What they actually meant was, hey, give me regular updates and please flag any potential problems early. That one tiny misunderstanding, it set me on a really dangerous path. And yeah, that path led me straight to my critical mistake. That one moment where my misunderstanding of expectations almost cost me all my credibility right when I needed it the most.
Okay, so here's how it started. My first month in, I was handed a pretty key project. It felt like a huge vote of confidence, And I was absolutely determined to knock it out of the park. They told me the deadline, the general outcome they wanted, and I just got to work.
So my big assumption, based on that vague, be proactive advice, was that as long as I wasn't running into major problems, I shouldn't bother my manager. I just put my head down, I worked really hard, and I figured, hey, no news is good news. I seriously thought I was showing initiative by being so self-sufficient. And I was so wrong. A week before the deadline, my manager pulls me aside and asks for an update. I really confidently said, oh yeah, it's all going great. But as I started explaining my approach, I could just see their expression change. The project wasn't totally derailed, but it was definitely off track. All my hard work suddenly looked like really poor communication. The deadline was right there. And yeah, panic set in. That was my big aha moment. I thought staying silent was the professional thing to do, that it showed I could handle things myself. But I wasn't being professional, I was being invisible. And when you're the new person, being invisible is literally the last thing you want to be. You learn pretty fast that visibility isn't about bragging. It's about making sure everyone is on the same page. That whole stressful mess forced me to create a new system for myself. I knew I couldn't rely on assumptions anymore. I needed a structured way to turn these vague expectations and little bits of feedback into a concrete plan that I could actually follow. And this is it. It's a simple, but I'm telling you, an incredibly effective 3-step system. First, document every single expectation, no matter how small it seems. Second, turn every piece of feedback you get into a specific, tangible action item. And third, and this is the absolute most important part, schedule your own brief, regular check-ins. Trust me, you will never be in the dark again.
So this is basically a snapshot of the simple tracker I built. When my manager would say something like, we need more data visualization, that comment didn't just float away into the air, nope. It went right here into the tracker. My action then became create 3 draft charts by Wednesday, and the status was in progress. This totally turned a stressful, vague conversation into a clear, productive plan that we could both see.
Now, using this system did way more than just keep my projects on track. It started this process of building something way more valuable in the long run, credibility. I call this the credibility flywheel because each part just powers the next one. It all starts with that proactive communication, my check-ins. Because I was communicating, I got clearer feedback, which led to consistent follow-through. That consistency gave me the confidence to ask smarter questions instead of just guessing all the time. And because I had this system, I could even own my mistakes quickly because I had a plan to fix them. See how each action builds on the last? It creates this momentum that builds incredible trust over time. And here's the most important part of all of this. I wasn't working more hours. I was just working smarter and, this is the key, more visibly. This system wasn't extra work. It was the work that made all my other work actually count, making sure my effort was being seen and valued.
And that right there, that's the ultimate prize of your probation period. Credibility. It's not something you're just given, it's something you have to earn. You earn it through all those small, consistent, and visible actions that prove you are reliable time and time again.
So let's circle all the way back to that first question we asked. Probation is not a test you just have to survive. It's your single best opportunity to set the entire course for your career at a company. It is not about surviving, it's about starting strong. So the only real question left is, how are you going to start?